Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to be doing another movie review for you guys this week. I saw Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Let's get into it, shall we? As you guys probably know, I was a big fan of the original Kingsman. I did a video for it. I even reenacted one of my favorite scenes because I love the movie so much. If you haven't seen that video, you probably should. It's pretty awesome. I put a lot of effort into it. It's probably one of my most viewed videos on the channel. So if you're interested in my take on the original Kingsman, link in the description. Let's get right into the sequel for Kingsman. So, long awaited. I had to get a little refreshed on my Kingsman knowledge, so I watched some scenes online, you know, got back into it, and I was like, yeah, I'm pumped to go see The Golden Circle. Let's see what that's about. When I first started watching it, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. It starts out with an awesome action sequence, timed perfectly to a great song, just like the Kingsman we know and love. Remember that scene in the church in the first one with To Free Bird? Legendary scene, to say the least. When I went to the movie, I thought it was going to be a great sequel, sort of like Terminator 2, advancing the story, paying tribute to the old one, but without copying all the same jokes, and, you know, just setting the series in a new and fun direction. But what I got from Kingsman was more like the Men in Black 2 of sequels. Most of the jokes are just callbacks to the first movie. Plot is really simple, like a typical James Bond kind of plot, which is okay because this whole series is supposed to be like a tribute to James Bond. But this movie can't really decide what it wants to be. In the beginning, it's like very Kingsman-y, fun action. As the movie went along, I started to like it less and less and less. It started to take itself less and less seriously. It started to put in more and more ridiculous scenes that didn't really make sense to the story. They just put them in because they were funny. The story just seems so exaggerated. I don't want to spoil. It's basically the same fucking plot as the first movie. Instead of a villain putting a device in everybody's cell phone, a villain puts a disease in everybody's weed. They basically hold the antidote for ransom, and America can either comply or not comply. And they make the president to look out like a really big dick, like he's a really exaggerated version of George Bush. I don't know if we should pay for that antidote. Maybe we should just let these druggy bastards die. It gets really political towards the end too. We need to legalize weed. Like, I can't believe, Mr. President, you would let all these people die, innocent people.
Innocent? They smoke the devil's lettuce.
It just seems so cheesy and not real. And the first one was able to make that step into cheesy fun land, but without taking us out of the experience. And the new one, it was just so stupid. And what the hell was this advertising campaign making it seem like Channing Tatum was going to be a main character? No spoilers, you know what? But I don't want you guys to go to the movie and be disappointed thinking you're going to see Channing Tatum the whole time. He's in the movie for like a total of 20 minutes. This is a minor spoiler, so if you don't want to hear anything, I would turn off the video for now. And just take it as Kingsman: The Golden Circle was a 6 out of 10. Because I'm just going to rip into it from here now, because I'm getting a little pissed off. Remember that disease I was talking about? Yeah, it turns out Channing Tatum's a big pothead. And about 40 minutes into the movie, he gets the disease, and they just decide to cryogenically freeze him until the end when they get the antidote. Really, you know what? Fuck Kingsman: The Golden Circle. It's not that good. And another thing that I have to complain about, the first movie, we had this amazing, amazing villain. Samuel Jackson's Valentine. He's funny, you know, he had good motives, you know, it makes sense. You also like to hear him speak. He had a lot of good dialogue. He had this funny lisp. Every scene that he was in was a good scene. Even if he wasn't, you know, if it wasn't action, it was interesting to hear him speak and the views that he has on the world. Like, he was a good villain. He was well-rounded. The new villain for this movie is terrible. I forget the actress's name, but they're trying to make her awkwardly creepy, but it just comes off as cringy. It's like a cringy soccer mom trying to be a supervillain. They try to develop her character by making her obsessed with the 50s, but it's just not good. It's not interesting. Every time she's on screen, I just want to cringe. Her motives are not clear. She just seems to want to be rich, but then she's already rich, so it has something to do with the war on drugs. Like I said, this movie gets political, but motives just don't make sense. It's really cringy. She's a horrible villain. So then what do we have to rely on if there's no good villain? Just Eggsy? Like, what is he gonna do? Because obviously all the goons aren't gonna put up a fight. Eggsy just mows through them, boom, 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 boom. So if there's no good villain, then what do we have, you know? A shit show. What's a Bond movie without its villain, huh? They shoehorn Elton John into scenes. The first 2 times I saw him, I thought it was funny, and then he started becoming like a character in the movie, and they were shoehorning him into every scene. We got Elton John for this movie, might as well put him in every scene. and he started doing stuff. This is when the movie got really silly towards the end. Fighting the bad guys. It's Elton John. When did Elton John learn how to do a flying karate kick? The ending just seems so anticlimactic. Like the first movie, there was this epic scene where Eggsy goes into the base, has to fight all these guys. The version of that scene in this movie was tuned down so hard. There was like 10 guys, 15 guys that he had to fight, and then there was robot dogs, and then they catch this woman. I don't even remember her name. That's how unmemorable and pathetic her character was. Another unrealistic thing that pissed me off. Remember how I said the president was an asshole? Well, you know what he does to all the druggies? He puts them in cages and stacks them up in stadiums. I was like, when would this ever happen in real life? When would there be a crane to put one individual person that has a disease on a tower? It just looks so stupid, and like it took me out of the experience. It's just so dumb. There are some good moments, there's some cool action sequences, and there's a few funny moments, but most of the jokes, like I said, are just callbacks to the first one. And I don't really know where this series is going. I want to say that I want to see more, but if they're just going to keep rehashing the same ideas over and over again, maybe the Kingsman series should stop. And you know what should stop? The James Bond series should definitely stop, because that's literally been the same thing for the last 50 years, and it never will stop. You know why? Because they can make money off of it. Either one of two things is going to happen. The next James Bond movie is going to heavily resemble Kingsman, because even though this Kingsman movie is not that good, it's going to rake in a ton of money. Either James Bond is going to be more like Kingsman, or we're just not going to get another Kingsman movie. So I guess we'll have to find out. But as I said, Kingsman, I changed my rating. It's even worse now that I think about it. I would give it a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed me bashing the fuck out of that movie, and I'll see you next time.